Hey crafty friends, this is Mai. So today what we are going to do is we are going to assemble our Pickleball Paddle with Ball Box SVG. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing. And I also have my bone folder here that I will use to kind of help crease some of my score lines. As you can see, I've got all of my pieces, they are cut out. Now, they're not really in any particular order, and that's all right, but they are kind of grouped together by the color. So as you can see, I have all of my light purple pieces here. These are all going to be part of the actual box itself. And then these two pieces here, or these four pieces, I should say, these are all going to be part of the design of my paddle, just to kind of add a little bit more character to it and to make it look more like a paddle. And then I've got my two ball pieces right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to push all of these off to the side here just for a moment, because what we're going to focus on first is our paddle box itself. Now, I've got 3 paddles here that we had to cut out, and what you're going to see is when you stack them up, one right on top of the other, you're going to find that they're actually kind of all different sizes. Well, not quite. 2 of them are exactly the same size, and then one is a little bit smaller. This smaller one is going to be the insert that goes to the inside piece of our box. And then the 2 pieces here that are identical, one is the top and one is going to be part of the base of the box. The one that is the base of the box is the one that has the score line that's running all the way around it. It also has a little circle here at the bottom. This is the base, and then this is going to be the one that we use for the top. Now, we're going to start here with the base first. And so I'm going to take my smaller piece, I'm going to put it off to this side. The lid I'm going to put over here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to look at all 4 of these side pieces here. And what we're looking for are the 2 side pieces that also have the little circle on them. This little circle is going to let us know that it goes with the bottom of the box. And then we're going to put those 2 together. And then we're going to take the other 2 pieces and we're going to put those off with the lid until we're ready to start. I already have glue on my fingers. Okay, so here we go. So I've got the 2 side pieces that have the oval, I should say, not just a circle, but it's an oval. And then the base that also has the oval. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the smaller one first, and we're just going to fold right along the score lines here. Now, this is also going to be one of those crafts that if you don't have a scoring tool, it's going to be really hard to do this one, especially because of this base, because it's exactly the same size as the lid, and we're going to glue right along the inside part of this scoring line. And a dashed line just really wouldn't work for that one there. Okay. So we've got this smaller piece here, and we just folded everything down. If you really want to make sure that everything's nice, sharp, and crisp, grab your bone folder and then just kind of, press along the score line there just to make sure that it's good to go. So I'm just going to do that really quick here. And then I'm just going to put it down. Now, when you look at this piece, when you look at the tabs, you're going to notice that it goes 1, 2, 3 are exactly the same size. Then this 4th one in the middle is slightly larger. And then 1, 2, 3, these are all the same size as well. This 4th one right here that's slightly larger, this is going to be our folding spot right here along the base, okay? And so what you're going to want to do is just kind of take your hand and give it a little bit of a crease, okay? We don't want it to be super sharp, and so that's why I didn't include a score line there. You just kind of want it to be a soft curve. So we're going to fold it there. You can barely see that I've kind of folded my paper, and we're going to do the same thing right on the other side as well. Just kind of give it a soft little bend, okay? Then what I want you to do is grab a small glue stick if you have one, or you could use a pencil. And I just want you to take that glue stick and put it right there. And we're just going to run it along right on the inside where this tab that is slightly larger is. And we're just going to kind of curve the paper a little, okay? Just kind of teaching the paper that there's going to be a small curve there, okay? And then again, just make sure you've got that fold happening. All right, so once you have that, we're going to start to glue. So I've already taken that off, and let me grab the bottom here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to work with these 3 pieces right here. So just squeeze out some glue right there onto the tab, all 3 of those tabs. And what we're going to do now is we're going to glue on the inside part of the score line that's here on the bottom of this paddle. So that means that we're going to line up the edge of this score line right with the score line here on the paddle. And we're going to line it up so that way this third piece, you can see my Band-Aid, this third piece here where we kind of created that small bend, it's going to line right at the curve of our paddle, okay? So I'm going to put this kind of right there. I'm trying to make sure that I don't pull it out of the camera to do it, and so you guys can still see. All right, so when you go to open it up, you can see kind of right there, like that's where it is. I'm still a little too far down, so I'm going to push that there a little bit more. And then we're going to curve it right on to this part. So I'm going to add the glue right here. I was a little bit over there, and I'm going to kind of curve it just a little to make sure that it ends right there at the curve. And so again, what you want to do is just kind of give it a little bit of a bend and hold it and give it a chance to dry. This is especially for this piece because you really want to make sure that it doesn't lift up, because then it might shift off a little bit. Okay, so once that one's dry there, then you can go ahead and you can add glue again along the line, and then you can place the top piece or the next part right there. All right, let me flip it this way. So hopefully you guys can still see. I'm going to actually press this one down here onto my table, and then give it a moment to dry there. Okay, so we've got our 2 tabs. We've got this part there, and that looks great. Okay, so now we have it there. Okay, so now we're ready for the longer piece. And so this longer piece is going to be much, much easier because all we have to do is just fold down these tabs here right on that score line again. And then we're going to take our bone folder again and just kind of press down and making sure that, there we go. Okay, and then what we're going to do next is I'm actually going to use my thicker glue stick here. And I'm just going to, if you don't have this, you could just use your thumb. I'm just going to run this along here and just kind of teaching the paper and bending the paper and breaking up these fibers inside the paper so that way it folds and curves a little bit more. Okay, and then once you have it, we're good to go. So now what we're ready to do is we are ready to glue along the rest of the paddle here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add glue to this tab here on the inside. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue right along this part here, right along the curve. And I'm going to have to put it down on the table because I kind of need a little bit of support here as I do this. But when we go along this curve, we're going to have to kind of bend the paper a little bit too. So you want to add the tab first and give that a moment to bond. And then as you do that, then you want to bend the paper and then just give it a moment, sit there with it and let it dry. All right, so I'm going to do that here and then I'll hold it up so you guys can see. And I'm just folding the tab more onto it. It's right on the curve, and so it's kind of hard, but it's okay. All right, so once you have it, I kind of bent mine there a little bit more, but once you have it there, then you can go ahead and you can add glue along the rest of the curve and along the rest of the score line there. So I'm actually going to try to make sure that I stay in the camera so you guys can see, but it makes it a little bit trickier for me. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press it down on the inside, making sure that I'm staying also on the inside where my score lines are. And there we go. Okay. And along the curves, it's okay if you take your time and just wait and allow the glue to dry. Because the last thing you want to do is kind of go to town with it and move along really quickly, and then it's a little bit off. That won't be fun. All right. So once you have it there, I'm going to continue to add a little bit more glue right along the straight part here of this line. And then I'm just going to press it down, and I'm using way too much glue. I can really see it seeping here. And I'm holding it again, just kind of giving it a chance to dry. I'm going to grab, I totally went out of the camera. And grab a paper towel here and just wipe some of this away. Okay. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. That was probably, again, way too much glue, but it's okay. I'm pressing it down. And then again, just a little bit more right along this straight part there. And then giving everything a chance to dry. That looks great. Now I can turn it this way. And then again around the corner, like I said, just take your time there. And giving it a chance to dry as well. I'm going to add more glue along the longer straight side. And then giving that a chance to dry as well. Okay. So it's definitely, it's a little bit on the hard side, but once you get it going, it does kind of end up going pretty quickly. I'm adding a little bit more right here. And then when you come again back to this part of the curve, what you want to do is just flip the flap open there, and then we're going to glue it so that way the flap is on the inside. And I think I was a little too, I'm actually going to do it this way, but I think I was a little too, I went too far in, so it might be a little problematic, but I'm just going to go this way. All right, you add a little bit more glue right there, and then add the glue on the inside of your tab, and then you can press it down and give it a chance to bond and to dry. All right. Okay, so once you have it, then it will be good to go. And I think I have stuff on my fingers. Okay. And then once you have everything there on the inside, you can take the inside paddle and you can just place it down right there on the inside, okay? So you can see that it will fit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the glue now to the back side by just going all the way around. And then you can just press it down and it will fit. And it just kind of covers up the tabs that are there on the inside and kind of protects it so you don't see so much of it when you, I totally have stuff on my fingers. You don't see as much of it when you go to glue there. Okay, so that will do the bottom there of the box. Okay, great. So now we're ready to do the top. And we're basically going to do the same thing with the top that we did with the bottom, except this time we're going to go all the way around the absolute edge here, because this part is going to be the outside of the box. So it's going to kind of come together here. And when you fold it together, another thing that's really important is going to be the orientation of when we go to put it together. So what we want to do is you want to hold it together like this, and you want to make sure that you're adding the side piece to the opposite side so it will go together, okay? Very, very important. All right. So I'm going to put this bottom piece off to the side. I'm going to work with the top now, and I'm going to do the same thing that we did with the base. As you can see, it's got the same thing. The 3 tabs are a little bit, are the same size, and then the 4th one is a little larger. And then the other 3 are the same size as well. Then we're just folding along the score lines. Then we're also going to do the same thing where we're going to give it a little bend right at that 3rd one where the 4th one would begin. And same thing where it ends. And then we're going to start gluing. Okay, so I'm actually going to speed up the video for this part. And then when we go to put everything together and we're going to glue the pieces that will give the paddle the character, then I will slow things back down. Okay, so once you have that all done, I find that the lid is so much easier than the base, because I feel like you're going right along the edges and it's just a lot easier to put that part together. And so once you have that there, then you can go ahead and just kind of fit it together, and you'll see that there it goes. Now, before we can do the next thing, or I should say, before we put them together and we're all done, what we're going to do is we're going to glue down the decorative parts here of our paddle here. So all I'm doing is I'm adding glue to this orange piece. And so the piece that has the ball, which is the circle, that's the piece that's going to go here at the lid. And so all you want to do is just kind of line it right up on top and then press it down. And then you're going to do the same thing with the tan part. So it's kind of like a two-toned paddle here, just to add a little bit of something to make it fun, right? Because when we're paper crafting, everything should be fun. And so all I'm doing is I'm adding the glue all around the outside here into all the pieces. And then all I'm doing is I'm just layering it right on top here. And so once you're layering it, you do kind of want to make sure that everything is landing right on top. And so that way everything is getting covered. And so you can see, there we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the ball. And so all I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue right there to the back of the green. And this is where, as a paper crafter, you can have a lot of fun bringing your own colors into this, making some with pattern cardstock. That would look so cool because they're not all solids. You can have fun and make it colored there. And there's that part. And now for the base, we're going to do the same thing on the back sides because we just need a back. Like it shouldn't just be this plain color. So we're going to do the same thing. You want to get the orange first, because you want to think about with the layering that it's not going to be the brown that's down first. It's going to be the orange and then the brown on top, just like the top part here. And so let me just line this up and make sure I have my orientation. So I have no idea if this would work if I did it backwards. Let me see if either way it would work. Maybe. But I think I'm going to do it this way. Yeah. And so all we're going to do, same thing, just like before, just adding the glue all the way around. And this is really cool because this part has all of the extra holes. So this was one where you probably needed to use a really sticky mat to cut out this orange layer, only because of all of the holes that are there. It could very easily shift with your cutting. And then we're going to do the same thing now with this one here. And I'm going to flip it, I think, this way just to make sure that it's lining up correctly. That looks good. So I'm going to add the glue now to this side. Again, just make sure, check orientation when you're doing paper crafting. It's so easy when we have all of these pieces to get things out of sorts and then glue them down incorrectly. So that's always an important part. And so I'm just going to line this up right there on top. And there you go. And so once you have it, you can just fit it right together and you've got your box and it's freestanding, so it will open and there you go. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks so much for watching and be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.